What's going on? Are you okay? It's a curse, man. It's a fucking curse. It's a curse. What's a curse? What are you talking about? What's a curse? Just feeling, just being an empath. Is that how you could feel sometimes? It feels like being an empath is a curse because it seems you feeling more is actually repelling more away from you. And this could definitely make you feel this way as an empath when it comes to relationships. On today's episode, we're going to get into understanding why is it that empaths attract uncommitted connections and realizing that there's a purpose behind why you are experiencing these certain scenarios. And I guarantee you, when you apply everything I'm going to share with you in your life, you will realize that it's never about wanting the other person. It's about you recognizing how irresistible you already are. Oh my god, this hair. What is Gooch, you beautiful beings? Welcome back, Awaken Ones, another episode on Embracing Ascension series with your homegirl, Brittany Fontanez. No, my background changed. The other location was too loud, and I didn't need that noise for y'all, for my peeps. But other than that, Awaken Ones, welcome back. On this channel, we speak about spiritual development, emotional awareness. We do guided readings for each zodiac sign, and I talk about things that fail to be talked about because our divine right to know more than what we've been told. And I've been given wisdom throughout my guidance and my journey that I didn't receive from others, and I feel the golden nuggets that will assist you on your journey. And if you want to know any of my business inquiries, all that information down in the description box below, as well as I have a special service going on currently, 20-minute phone call with me for a mini reading. A lot more cheaper, a lot more affordable for people who need some quick clarifying guidance on their journey. So if you're interested in that, go to the link in the description of my bio. That will be on my website for you to book your appointment today. But other than that, beautiful beings, let's get into today's episode. And we're going to be talking about why empaths attract uncommitted relationships. And we got to first start off with, what is an empath? An empath, well, for me, for example, every empath I ever met in my life has had a spiritual awakening or been through the times in their life where they're seeking more guidance than what they already currently know. And since empaths are people who are highly sensitive, it's because they have an over hyperactive way of having compassion for people. So they can tune into other people and know how they feel, know how they think, and really imitate who they are, which is very, very crazy. But an empath is someone who is highly sensitive. And most empaths, like I said, I've met, have gone through spiritual awakenings or been through very traumatic moments in their life. Now, since we know what an empath is someone who has a heightened sensitivity and senses, and also an overwhelming sense of compassion, willing to tune into other people, here is how empaths could get trapped in the self-deprecating loops from life scenarios. So meaning that empaths, when we grow up, the reason why we become empaths or highly sensitive emotionally and able to tune into other people, because we have a hypersensitivity towards our environment, because as a child we had to tune into our environment to get a sense of safety. So the way we had to do that is by tuning into the caretaker. What day are they? How are they going to act today? How are they feeling today? In order to get approval or validation, or not to experience anything that's going to make them feel like they're unsafe. You know, as kids, we tune into our caretakers' emotions, how they think, so we can get their validation and approval. And then that way, that's how we identify our sense of worth, is by how people see us, because a sense of neglection or abandonment or emotional unavailability from caretakers that you trusted. So because of this, empaths get stuck in the self-deprecating loops of always feeling worthless, is always feeling unloved, is because, well, we love harder than most people. because we are able to understand how it feels to be worthless, and we don't want anyone else to experience those sense of not feeling like they belong, not feeling love, not feeling like they don't matter. And because empaths have been there, they don't want anyone else to feel that way. But since empaths are givers, we usually attract narcissists, which are takers. And this is how the paradigm of the narcissist and the empath paradigm can play out. It's because the narcissist likes to take, empath likes to give. And in some way, they both actually need each other because they both want something from one another. Where the empath, even though they give, they want validation, so that's why they overextend themselves. While the narcissist wants to take because they feel like they can't fill up their own cup. So let's go back to the empath. That's how empaths work. And this is how we could get into self-deprecating loops of thinking that we're not good enough, we're not worthy of love, because we're giving it in the wrong ways and to the wrong people, because we're overly giving, because we're seeking subconsciously some form of nourishment that we lacked as a child. And I know it does sound annoying to hear how my adulthood is affected by my childhood, but the thing is, nothing can make up your identity other than what you have already been taught to believe in to make up the identity you currently have. So this is why childhood affects your adulthood, because most of your beliefs were formed when you were born. And most of us don't realize that we have our own identity besides what we've been told to who we should be, what we should do, and how we should live life. So we have our own lives here. But being an empath on this journey and going through those scenarios and realizing we're a light and realizing we're love, it's like we go through these loops of always making ourselves suffer because of repeating those memories of the past. And this is why we have a tendency to attract the same thing. So now let's get into and how can you get to a place where, like I said in the beginning, you know, irresistibly you. How can you start becoming irresistibly you as an empath and not try to attract committed people, but understand why you're attracting uncommitted people and realize what true commitment is? And the only way to really acknowledge why relationships are happening the way that they are, why you attract certain connections, is because you have to acknowledge the connection with yourself. What is the connection to you? And you know, that is very important, because that is the first connection we ever create when we come into this life. We come into this world by ourselves, we leave by ourselves. So that means that we always have a connection with ourselves. That's why it blows my mind when people say, you're crazy for talking to yourself. And I'm like, what? Who else am I going to talk to? I wake up with me, I go to bed with me, I feed me, I shower me, I take care of me. Of course I have to talk to me. I'm a fucking person too. I exist, I matter, you exist, you matter, not just the outside world too. So we have to acknowledge the connection between ourselves before we can acknowledge connection with another. And before I even get into why the signs that why empaths attract uncommitted people, I want you to understand the type of world that we live in and why we think the way that we do towards connections. We live in a world that we were taught to believe in codependencies. This world is based off of nothing but codependencies. Taxes are based off of getting money from other people. You know, debt is receiving a loan from another person and needing, you know, assistance. It's crazy how you could use debt actually to make money. A lot of people don't know that. But or you know, we rely our happiness based on going out to the club, going out drinking, going out smoking, going out partying, you know, going out eating. This world is filled with distractions because they want us to rely on the outside of us for our own fulfillments. And this is how we have a distorted perspective of love and of connections, because connections are not for your self-fulfilling prophecies. And what I mean by this is how the world is. We get to this place of learning how to be codependent on the outside world, that we feel entitled to certain things, and therefore we feel entitled to people, because we make them responsible for our source of peace, happiness, and filling up our own cup, when that is not their responsibility. And this is why there's a lot of cycles of trauma happening in relationships, because we're only using each other to heal when that is our job to do. So it's very, very important to realize the world we live in is based off of codependencies. And when you know this as an empath, you have to understand that this world was not made to have a fulfilling heart. This world was made to deplete ourselves and our life force. So it's important to understand as an empath how this world works, so you understand how you show up and who you give your energy to with your discernment. So it's important to know that the way you think about connections is because you were taught to believe in codependencies and think you need love, when connections are really here to help you grow and be a better version of you. They're not here to cater to you. That's why they always say, be happy before you get in a relationship, because that person only adds to your peace. Love is an energy. It's not in a person. It's an energy. When two people are already in love with themselves and they come together, it's a compound amount of fucking vibration that is powerful. And this is why most people are power couples, when they love themselves. So I wanted to share that with you guys real quick so we could get into understanding why we think the way that we do, and we don't shun ourselves for feeling so attached when all we want to do is feel secure and self-reliant within our own love of self. So let's get into now signs of why empaths attract uncommitted connections. And this is why. This is the first one, you guys. You're too focused on other. Empaths, do you feel like people run away? Do you feel like you're too expressive or too loving? It's because you're too focused on other. And the thing is, here's the very, very, very interesting thing. When you focus on other, you're really depleting your life force. You know, my favorite YouTube was explaining where he went to an event, and the host of the event told them, all right, you guys, they were doing energetic exercises. And she said, all right, you guys, put your energy towards me. Put all your focus on me. And so that's what they did. They put all their focus on her. And she kind of backed away. It was like, all right, I don't like this. I don't like this. That's how empaths are. We give because we're so giving, but to the point that we actually cause a resistance, a restraint, a push away, to the point that person runs away. Now she did the opposite, where she's like, all right, you guys, don't pay attention to me. And she felt attracted to that. Empaths, I'm here to tell you, when you focus on other, you're giving your energy away. When you think about another person, you're giving your life force away so much they sense that, and that scares them. But here's the important thing. The reason why you attract uncommitted people is because you're too focused on others and not enough of yourself, and people sense that to the point they can manipulate that. That's why it's so important to always take your energy back. I always imagine like a green rope within my heart and pulling back all my energy from all the pain, all the things I haven't forgiven, all the things that have hurt me, all the insecurities. I say, Brittany's coming back. Brittany, come back home. Brittany, come back home. And that, since doing that for a couple weeks already, you guys, I've literally started to realize how magnetic I've become. And this is not because I want to attract relationships. It's because I'm coming back into my body. When a person could put their focus back onto their hands and their feet and their toes and a part of their body, that's magnetic. That's attractive. That means you're in your present. That means you feel safe within your body. And who doesn't want to be around someone who doesn't feel safe? You know what I mean? So it's like you attract uncommitted people because you're too focused on other and not focused enough on how important and beautiful you are. And this is how we're going to trickle into the second reason why empaths attract uncommitted people. And it's because this is going to be a tough one. But empaths, you believe that you are needed. You believe that you are needed. And this is how this trickles into being too focused on another. You think you're needed because empaths, you love so much, you literally see like God sees this world. I'm going to be blunt. But you have a tendency to believe that since you love so hard, you know what's best. And that gets you into the mentality of wanting to fix people or wanting to make people see your worth or see your efforts of how much you care for them. But I'm here to share with you, my beautiful empaths, is that you need to get yourself to a place of not needing to want to be needed. And here's why. Because when you focus on others so much, and when you want to give and feel needed, feel wanted, the reason why people run away, empaths, is because people haven't experienced a love the way that you have created for yourself. A lot of people sit in their pain, sit in their trauma, sit in their childhood wounds because that is their definition of love.
It does not mean there's something wrong with your love. It just means they never experienced a love like yours, so it's scary. They're familiar with their own toxicities and their own sense of love, that your love seems foreign because it's healthy. That's why. So, and here's another thing, empaths, which is very crazy, is that the reason why you desire a relationship so much, it's not because you feel like you're unlovable. It's because you have so much love to give. You don't want to keep it all to yourself. Yeah, that's beautiful. But let's get into the last reason why empaths attract uncommitted people. And we got to be honest with ourselves about this. And that is, you're uncommitted to yourself and your journey. You will always attract a reflection of who you are. If you believe that your life, your journey, your mission, your goals, your dreams aren't important, but the only thing that's important is another, you're going to tune into that other person's life and try to make you a priority to the point they're going to be your only world, and you're going to neglect yourself. And you're going to lose yourself within your relationship, because you're only focused on that person and you're only committed to them to the point that they're looking at you like you don't have nothing for yourself. You only care about this relationship. You're all on me. Like, who are you? Like, do you not care about yourself? Do you not love about yourself? Here's the thing, empaths. When you focus on you and you commit to yourself, meaning you set your boundaries, you know your worth, you know when to say no, you know when you want to say yes, you have the integrity to speak up for yourself, you know who the fuck you are, you know who the fuck you want. That shit's attractive. And people like that. And I'm not saying to do this to manipulate people into liking you. What I'm saying is that when you put the focus on you and realize the importance of your own existence, you would never want to put all your importance on another. Because what that shows the universe is that if you're not important, then I'm going to make sure that someone comes in your life to reflect to you, that you're not important. Ain't it crazy how this works? So it's very important to understand the reason why empaths attract uncommitted people is because you're not fully committed to your truth. You're not fully committed to what you believe you deserve. You're not fully committed to yourself. So it's very important, in order to be able to be irresistibly you as an empath, is realizing that this is not a curse, you guys. Being empath is not a curse. Feeling is not a curse. Loving the way that you do is not a curse. You saying it's a curse is giving you the results that you have towards connections. But the way to be irresistibly you as an empath is to remind yourself that you matter just as much as the other person. But what's more beautiful about your existence is that you can take all that love that you give to another and really question, how would it feel if I give this to myself? How would it feel if I put all this focus, all this energy back into me and find a way to feel safe within my own sense of self, my darkness and my light? How would that feel to put all that focus on me and be proud of who I'm building myself to become? The energy is very different. We were taught not to focus on self, we were taught to focus on another. But the reason why it's so important as an empath to focus the energy back onto yourself and your life and find your own sense of peace and inner fulfillment is because if you keep giving and giving and giving and giving and giving, you're gonna get to a point where you think there's something wrong with you when there isn't. When the only issue is you're not acknowledging the connection you need with yourself, you're not acknowledging the boundaries that you need to set, and you're not giving yourself the space to realize how important you are. So empaths, the way to become irresistibly you is to own that shit. Own the fact that you're sensitive. For me, I went to the club, what was it, recently, by myself. I went by myself for the first time. I went by myself. I was like, I need to get the fuck out. I need to get out of my comfort zone. I just need to do it. So I went out, and there was this group of people that wanted me to dance with them, so I did. They were real chill, real nice, real kind, real fun. And there was this girl there, and I thought she was cute. And then her friend was like, go dance for her. And I was like, I was dead ass, but I was like, listen, I'm gonna be real with you. I know I look cute, you guys are giving me compliments and shit, but I'm a little shy. And she's like, I got you. And right there and then, I felt such liberation because I was vulnerable enough to own my shyness. I was vulnerable enough to own my insecurity. And even throughout like these couple of last few weeks, I've been vulnerable enough to own the fact that I'm imperfect, that I'm not where I want to be, being honest and blunt with myself. When you own the fact that you may have a unibrow, or you may have a gut, or when you own what you feel may be a sense of a judgment towards the world, when you own that shit, you own all of you, and that shit looks good on you. So that's why it's important to realize, just be irresistibly you. We don't have to try to naturally be us. The only reason why we try is because we believe that we need someone else's attention to make us seem like we are someone, that we are important, that we are lovable. But we naturally are. And the reason why we naturally are is because we were given the opportunity to exist. And that's love right there. And if you don't think that's love, thank your body for operating the way that it does on its own without you needing to do it. If that ain't love, I don't know what is. So other than that, beautiful beings, that's what I want to share with you today, is understanding why empaths attract uncommitted relationships, the signs of why you attract uncommitted relationships, and realizing that learning all of this will teach you how to put the focus back on you and realize who you are already is already irresistible. It's already irresistible. It's so attractive. It's so magnetic to the point that you get to a point that you realize, like, damn, the love I've been wanting, it already exists because I am it and I have it. And that's the power of the imagination. When you can visualize what you want and believe it already is here, and you have it and you feel it and you own it and you merge with it, you'll get to a point where you realize, I don't even need it. Ain't that some shit? When you feel like you already have it, because it feels so good to see it in your mind, and just feels so good to be a part of it and just believe the fuck out of it, you wouldn't even need it. And therefore you become irresistibly you, because you already own what you believe that is rightfully yours. And that is the quickest way manifestation happens, is that when you don't, not saying when you don't want it, it's more the fact when you don't need to see it to feel good to have it, then that's when it comes in. It's crazy how it works, you guys. But I know, you guys, I wanted to share that with you. If you found this very beneficial, very uplifting, or very good insight, please let me know feedback in the comment section below. I love hearing from you guys. Other than that, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if this resonated with you. But until then, you guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you on the next one.